Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast, number 184. A big one today is I feel like it's pretty much season ending, but anyways, let's start off by passing it off to our panel, starting with my main man, Richard. Richard, how's it going, bro?
Oh, well, what can I say? This team ruins my life. This team is a dumpster fire, but the good news is at least there's only like 5 more games to go, and then we start anew in the summertime.
Yeah, exactly. Also joined by the patron, Steph. Steph, how's it going, bro?
Oh, I like that. Who came up with that?
That was I.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like it. Equally the same, and in addition, our modalities, they're not doing so great as well. So overall, the club is very sucky. So we'll talk about it.
Exactly. And last but not least, also joined by Chris. Chris, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, it's going good. Obviously, the win got taken out of our sails a bit on Thursday, but, basically I feel like we weren't, expecting to win anything or anything, I guess the run kind of came to an end when it roughly was expected to, but it just would have been cool to try to salvage something out of the season. I think that's more what we were hoping for. The run was kind of salvage something, but nah. Braga doesn't drop points.
Yeah.
Only we do. We play like shit. We got a result today, but it was ugly. I mean, we're the last one to play in the match week. We're just trying to keep pace with the rivals who've already all won. It's getting old scoreboard watching Braga because they don't lose, man. They got a great team. It's honestly a shame that they're probably going to finish third this season because they've had a great season and then they have a good team.
There's 5 games left, and they do play Benfica one game. But
yeah, I know, but the Europa draw was what fucked us probably.
Yeah.
Gil Vicente, I would say.
So I've basically been thinking we were going to get fourth since that final whistle ended, a week ago. So, I've come to kind of realize that watching the game today, I was looking at a team that didn't deserve to finish third place, So, and to be fair, I was also looking at a team that doesn't deserve to finish fifth place. They're shite. Do not deserve to be in Europe realistically.
Nope.
So,
yeah,
it is what it is, man.
There's also, of course, myself. Give myself a follow there, and don't, of course, forget about Sam there. More importantly, the page. But Rich, I'm just gonna pass it off to you because let's talk about the giveaway we're doing.
We're close. We're like 45, 44 subscribers off. So yeah, we're gonna be giving away a free sporting shirt of your choosing, whether you want the home kit, the away kit, third kit, strong kit. If you want a goalie kit, I think there's 1 or 2 available. We'll give you that too. All you gotta do is subscribe to the channel, reply to the tweet that is up on screen now. It's also going to be in the video description, just showing that you've subscribed, and you can win a free sporting shirt from Loja Verde. Hopefully by the end of the season. We're getting pretty close. And we're covering everything: shipping, handling, taxes, you name it. So
Exactly. So do subscribe, guys. Do not forget. All right, let's just go straight into today's game. We'll get on to Twitter questions just after. But to start, we had a Dan in net with an assist, funny enough. Diomande Kawach and Matheus Reis in the back line with Gaio and Nuno Santos on the wing-back positions. Ugarte Morita in midfield with Edwards, Bot, and Shermiti up top. Trincão Artur coming in and getting a goal. Inácio and Rochinha also coming in. Chris, I'll start off with you first, dude. What were your thoughts on today's game?
on mute.
I guess just kind of my overall thoughts were that it just seemed kind of uninspired, like bereft of ideas. I think that the Shermiti experience really has gone on probably for a bit too long at this point. It was crazy that he even lasted 70 minutes out there today. We were basically, honestly, we were playing with 10 men for a lot of the time as a result of that. he literally like couldn't control the ball, couldn't settle it. Couldn't pass it. Was never going to get on the end of anything. It was just very, very, very frustrating to watch. Paul and Edwards, I mean, I guess they had their moments creatively. But the thing is like our opposition didn't really offer too much going forward, to be fair. So it allowed us the game to kind of just drag along in like the doldrums, you could say. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just winners in the end, but it's not good. I remember reading like after the Aruca and the Juventus game, it was like we had 2 completed crosses out of the last like 32 or something like that. And I'd say that was like the end of the Aruca game. Like that was a team that was out of ideas and it was just cruisable. Like today was out of ideas, but not in the cruisable way, I would say. Usually when we're out of ideas, it's cruisable. Today it was just like, I don't know, it was like lethargic. Monday, no one really wanted to be there. I mean, they're not idiots. They know that they're not playing for much anymore, right? So yeah, I think that some of these remaining 5 games with very little to play for could be relatively similar to this one, which is not great for the viewing experience,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Rich, I'll pass it off to you next. What were your thoughts?
Oh God, this of all the games, this was certainly one of them of all time. This was brutal to watch, like Chris said. I didn't watch first half. I was at work, so it's funny. The first thing I heard when I walked through the door was the Vitoria goal that got disallowed, and my dad just go, "These useless pricks." I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't sound great. Yeah, first half from what everybody said and from what I saw from the highlights or lack thereof was just awful, just a war of attrition. I think Chris nailed it on the head. It just looked like they did not want to be there today. I got to watch the second half, and they just looked like lethargic. They didn't want to do anything. There was just no ideas, no urgency, and yeah, that's what happens when you have nothing to really play for. Like the more the weeks go by, the less chance they have of trying to catch third. I don't see Braga dropping enough points for us to catch them anyways. They might drop points against Benfica. I think if that's the game, it's going to happen, but we still have to play Benfica the following week anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like if they drop points, we'll probably drop points. So yeah, this was a shitty game. Haddad got an assist though on a goal that really was more of a frango.
He also came out on a cross and completely whiffed on it, and it's probably a miracle that they didn't score.
He whiffed on a cross completely, and he was very fortunate.
He probably should stop doing that, but he doesn't.
He looks like Rui Patricio for the first 4 years of his career, where he just had no clue how to field a cross. Just was out to lunch.
I think that's even a compliment to the kid, because I mean, Rui Patricio had his moments. He was a frangueiro, but had his moments. This kid is something else, bro.
Kid, he's a grown man. He's a grown man.
Oh, sorry, Adan. Okay, I thought we were talking about my bad.
That paella eating prick is 30-some years old.
Yeah, fair.
He's 35. He's an adult.
He's 35.
Yeah, I think that's Bovista's tough for Braga. Yeah, but they also do really well against Benfica away the last few years. So, and they look like they're up for it. Yeah, I see.
Basically, there wasn't enough for Adan to fuck up today. The little that they did, he still tried to fuck it up, but it just wasn't.
Well, I think we had at one point, at least I don't know if this was the final stat, we had 70% possession.
At one point, they had 7 shots all off target. Yep, 7 shots, 0 on target.
Yeah, 0 on target. So that's why
there was no shot. There's
nothing for him to fuck up.
Yeah.
Thank God, probably. And the one thing that he could have, he just about did fuck up. Yeah, nothing to add. We got 5 more games probably of this where the mood's just gonna be not great.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Steph?
Well, first of all, grande abraço, Nuno Gabriel.
Thanks.
Shout out to Nuno.
Yeah, he's a great Sportingista, and he's always retweeting our stuff on Twitter. Well, I couldn't. What can I say? Chris and Rich already said everything. It's the end of the season. They know it. We basically, the good news is we have the 4th place locked in. I'm kidding.
It's going to be Europa League.
Now that
One
I'm
of Braga
thinking
or
about it,
Porto's winning the toss.
we scored the goal, the pot goal, very early in the second half, and it was kind of a miracle, weird deflection goal. So if that doesn't happen, this might be 0-0. I'll be
This
honest.
might be a 0-0. Like,
Well, typically when we play in Guimaraes, we always have a tough time. So winning today 2-0, and the way we played, like we didn't even want to show up, was actually a blessing from the skies. The entire team is lacking of motivation. They know there's no more trophies. They know that we locked in for the 4th place, which could be the Conference League, because now we're rooting, believe it or not, for Porto and Braga to do well. Because
we're rooting for them, but we're rooting for Porto to beat Famalicão now because it guarantees us Europa League.
If it's Braga Porto win the final, we're in
guaranteed the
That's
Europa
it.
League.
Europa League qualification. No, actually the group.
Is it the group?
Because
I don't know.
Top 3 will be Champions League, and then there's one automatic Europa League group
which
spot.
is the TASA winner. So I guess 4th
It would be
would
us
get
then,
their
and then the
TASA
5th place would be Europa League,
exactly.
preliminary. Yeah.
So now we have to root for our rivals to win the Portuguese Cup, so we can make the Liga Europa. That's embarrassing.
Vivo Braga.
That's the way it is for our Sporting.
Man, it'd be hilarious to be in the Conference League, though. I'm not gonna lie.
We'd at least be in with a shout to win.
No, we wouldn't.
The problem
we would
is
not win.
it's
I
less
guarantee
money.
you, we would lose in the round of 32 or some shit.
It's less money.
We lose like the round of 16.
Conference League is less money than Liga Europa.
Even less, yeah. It's probably
Yeah.
And your Liga Europa is already like 1/6 of the Champions League money, you know.
Yeah,
when Roma won the Conference Cup, no one really gave a shit. Only the Roma fans. You know, I mean.
It's like when
It's
we won.
like-
there's still.
Then you got a tattoo, bro.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's like winning the
Mourinho's gonna do.
Taça da
Mourinho's gonna
Liga.
do the
In Portugal,
No,
it's like winning
bigger
that
than
cup.
Taça da Liga.
It's
It's still a European for a club that only has the Taça das Taças. It'd be a welcome, to have a European trophy.
Taça das
you know what I mean?
Taças used to be a huge competition back in the days.
Of course.
You could compare it to Liga Europa.
Of course. I think the Conference League would be. I mean, listen, I hope to never play the Conference League as a Sportingista, but if we play it and win it, I'm not.
Hey, here's the thing: if we're in the Europa League group,
I'm going to brag about it.
We could drop.
We could drop to Conference
Yeah, we could
League,
drop
we
to the
could-
Conference
yeah,
League after
exactly.
finishing third in our group.
Third,
maybe.
yeah.
But I'm going to come back to the Guimaraes game really fast, and it just shows the entire season. I think Sam he tweeted something which I totally agree with him. I think it was today, and he was calling people out saying Paulinho makes the whole difference, and it does. We lost Paulinho, and since Paulinho has been hurt, we won one time, we tied 4 times, and we lost once.
It is very. I mean, I don't like. Is it surprise anybody? I mean, the team has no depth at striker. So
Exactly. It's
There's no plan B.
Look at Roma today. Roma today. This is to compare. They lost against Atlanta 3-1, and why? Because they have no depth like we don't. And Mourinho has been complaining about that. And Mourinho, instead of complaining about it, he defends something that's not defendable. He has no depth. But he created that mess by saying we have enough. Shimiti is too green. He shouldn't even be playing the 18. He should be playing maybe in the
It's so
B team.
unlike Ruben Amorim, right? It really feels like square peg, round hole, and he's just like continuing to ram it in. It's like, bro, it's
we could have gotten. I don't give a fuck about Navarro would cost. We could have gotten him with all the money we spent with these useless players. If we total all of them together, we would have bought 3 Navarros. And now Navarro might go to Porto next year. That's the way it is.
But that's how Sporting always operates. We have a chance to get a decent player, and we just let it pass by. It happens like every year. Like
And-
we,
and
I remember,
that's-
I remember a few
yeah.
years ago, José Sá was on the radar because they weren't sure if Patricio was leaving at
It
the
was a
time.
Maritimo.
This is pre Alcochete, and they passed on him, and he ended up going to Porto instead.
Yep.
And I'm like, why would you? The dude's like an under 21 like starter. Like clearly there's something in him. If Porto also wants him, and they let him go, and they just decided to let him walk.
Yeah, so I'm done with the Guimaraes game, but I agree with Rich. It's a wrap. Braga's got the third place. They have 7 points on us. There's 15 left. There's 5 games times 3 is 15. So
You need them to
that's
lose
it.
3 games.
Braga's
It's
got
not
the third
happening.
place. I don't see them losing
Yeah.
3 games. It's impossible.
You're lucky if they even lose 1.
Yeah, we're gonna lose. We're gonna.
We
tie
won't
at least
even win all
3
our
more.
5 games.
No, we're gonna lose at least 1 more game. I think.
Well,
Boys, we
we're
play
gonna
Benfica. Don't forget.
Yeah,
I know,
we'll
they're gonna
probably
clinch
lose
the
at least
title
that
after
one.
But
Maybe,
Benfica-
maybe another one.
against Benfica, we will win because it won't count for nothing, but it'll be against Benfica.
It'll be like-
No.
I don't know. I don't know. It might be to win the
No
league, and they might win the league at
way.
Avalon.
Well,
No
yeah.
way.
I'm
It'll
telling you,
happen.
we will win against Benfica.
I hope
Just
we turn
because
the lights off on them.
when we play shitty, we win against
Sprinklers on.
Benfica.
Sprinklers and the lights on.
Maybe,
Wrong.
maybe. I don't doubt that stuff. I hope Porto drop points prior to that, just so that they're not celebrating
I
the new
have no
title at
preference.
Avalon.
I don't.
I
care
have no
who wins
preference
the
either.
league.
My preference is that Benfica don't celebrate in Sporting Stadium. That's my
Yeah,
preference.
that's all I want. I just don't want them.
Well, my
clinching at our
preference
stadium.
is Braga winning it. How about that?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think for the
Shout out
good
to
of
Dave Pereira
I
right
think for
here.
the good of Portuguese football, it would behoove us for Braga to win. It would be
All right,
better
there
for
is.
the
I mean, here's the
league.
thing. Like Braga is also 2 games back, and so is Porto. So any scenario where Porto is like maybe champion, it might mean Benfica finishes 3rd, which would be hilarious, right?
Yeah. Well, because Benfica has to play Braga. If they drop that, Braga goes 3 points back on them.
Yeah.
But if Braga and Benfica finish tied, Braga would have the tiebreaker. They'd have the head-to-head.
Because
What was the
now
first
it's
game of
Benfica
them?
74, Port 70, and Braga 68.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's close between them. It's really
Yeah.
close. It's
Yeah, I
one
mean-
game.
I'm telling you, they barely won against Studio. They gave them a PK. I mean, I'm gonna.
Ball
be
never
honest.
lies. It didn't go in the
The-
net though. But they did
the
give them a
defen-
PK.
No, the
Yeah.
defender, he was like
Yeah,
careless.
yeah,
You
exactly.
should know
Benfica
better. I mean,
academy
you're a
player.
You're a professional soccer player, and you kick a player like that. There's no ball. I mean, it's a PK. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. My quick 2 cents. I didn't watch this game at all, to be honest.
You missed
My
nothing.
quick. So
I
my
feel,
quick
I'm
2
jealous
cents.
of you. I'm jealous
So-
of you for not having watched this game.
My
Yeah, you,
my
you missed nothing much. Yeah.
my quick 2 cents are actually my dad's 2 cents. Just quickly on the Paulinho point that you made, Steph. I actually agree, and Sam, when he put up that tweet, I actually agreed with him as well. I think my dad put it well today when I was having dinner with him. He was saying how basically Paulinho lá na frente ele aguenta com ou dois. O Schmidt nada, and we've seen that especially in the Juve game, right, where he was just getting bullied, like
Worthless.
you know.
He's
So
so bad.
I think that's what
I'm
we miss.
sorry.
We miss.
And
we miss
don't say
Paulinho.
that. Let's not say he's so bad. It's not his fault.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
only 18.
The
He's
thing
18,
is
exactly.
the part that scares me is that I feel like he's like literally gotten worse from like
That's true.
his debut.
He
Bro,
tries
he
too
scored
hard.
a banger against Porto, and I've not seen that since.
I remember
He-
thinking like he's putting himself in the right positions. He's technically maybe not, but like he's constantly in dangerous areas. He's making things happen. Like he doesn't make anything happen anymore because he can't even control the ball.
I know. He's trying too hard, and when you try too hard, things don't flow.
He's too in his head.
That's his problem. É muito, like we say in Portuguese, é muito trapalhão.
Yeah, he truthfully needs to go back to like the B team and like maybe bang 1 or 2 in, you know,
Yeah.
on some like weaker competition.
I think
Or a
Mourinho's to
season
blame on
on
this one.
loan or something. Like he's just not ready. Yeah,
I think
Mourinho,
Dave also
he
brings up a
rushed
good
him.
point there too.
He rushed him too much.
Yeah.
totally. He's
They
rushed
threw
more
him
than
to the
anyone
wolves.
I've ever like they don't rush anybody except for him. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But
they
that
threw
was
him to the
dying to
wolves.
get some minutes. Shedemiti's just walking into the team like it's nobody's business.
I know.
Like,
dude.
not to and this is just Fatawu. I think of Plata. How hard was it for Plata to get into
Dude,
this 11?
nothing. who's demonstrated that
Yeah.
he's playing at this level, bro. Like, say what you will about Plata, but like La Liga is an equal or higher level.
Yeah.
Like he
It's
can
a
play at
higher
that
level.
level. Like he was at the level to play for us. Realistically, he was.
Yeah.
At least the minutes that Artur is getting, he could have easily gotten this year, in my opinion.
I mean, look at Porto, the depth they have. If Taremi doesn't score, they have Tony Martinez.
If Tony Martinez doesn't score, they have even Nelson.
At Benfica, the same thing. Tem Gonçalo Ramos. They have
Musa.
what's his name? Yeah, Musa, and they still have the other kid. They have three strikers, a dependable one.
Even Musa scored in their championship game. I think I got disallowed, but
yeah.
he scored.
We have Paulinho, which is hurt, and Shirmiti. That's it.
That's not gonna
and then
win you battles.
he
anytime
creates
soon.
crazy moves. Oh, let's put Coates, a center back, playing Ponta de Lança, striker. Are you kidding me? That's only once in a while in a desperate move at the end of the game, but not every game.
And when you mention depth, honestly, I think the only position that we actually have a real depth in is center back. Because midfield's thin.
Yeah, we used to have
Wingers,
no
yeah.
depth at center back, but now we actually kind of do.
We have a
Now we have
ton
good
of
depth
wingers,
midfield,
Yeah.
or excuse me, good depth center backs, good depth. I guess you could say wingers, but even
We bought
still,
one, and then
aside
we got
from-
a couple guys healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, and
A
aside
center
from
back.
Edwards, Pot, and even Trincão, like, who else is a dependable winger? Artur, Rochinha? Like, not really. I don't.
I'll tell you, when
No,
Trincão
we just
came
have a
in
lot of
today, when
wingers.
Trincão came in and had like an average performance / above average, he looked like world class
Yeah.
compared to Shirmiti.
Yo, Trincão has his moment. I feel like Trincão, he just needs
He's
that
a streaky player.
consistency.
The thing
Yeah,
is,
he's young though too. He needs that consistency.
yeah, he's so
I think
streaky.
Trincão shows flashes. I mean, the games where he scored 3 goals or 2 goals.
When
or
it's
even a goal-
Edwards, Pot, and Shirmiti, don't you guys sometimes feel like it should be Pot in the middle
Yeah.
and not
Of course.
Trincão?
Of course. I think Pot needs to play. I think a
It's
better
always
option is having
Trincão,
Pot
though.
up top.
Even today, it was Trincão
Yeah.
when he came. I mean, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine, but it is just not like it's not an elite option or like a
No.
serious option.
To be fair, they also, I feel like a lot of them, when it comes to that front three, like Trincão will then drift out wide, Pot will take that space. Like, it's very interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
But you are right. Trincão is mainly there in the middle. I guess because he's taller. I think that might be the only reason, to be honest with you.
Or maybe that's what he prefers.
Yeah, maybe.
It might be a personal
He
preference.
has a decent shot, so maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that was really it. Other than that, the only other thing I had to say was their offside goal was amazing. 7 centimeters, unlucky.
Nuno
His
Santos
offside
got
goal was
cooked.
amazing.
He got just obliterated.
He didn't get subbed off this game, so I hope he's a happy boy. But
Yeah.
pretty much.
They didn't play
I
that
mean,
good either.
don't believe everything you hear on the media.
Oh, of course. Oh, well, you can see that whenever he comes off, he's pissed.
Yeah, I just look at
You
him.
can see it. You can see
But to
it.
be fair, like 90% of the time he looks pissed.
But I love
Very
Nuno
seldom see him
Santos.
smile.
Yeah, that is true. He is. He'll yell at a ball boy if he has to.
He's like an angry toddler who just got told he's like, I don't want to go to bed. Fuck you.
No, you know what he is? He has road rage, but like on the soccer pitch. You know what I mean? So like
He's got pitch rage.
it's it's just a separate personality for him. Man of the match quickly, guys. I didn't watch this game, so I'm not gonna hand one out. Chris, I'll start with you.
I mean, it's kind of tough. I guess I'll go Diamande. I just thought he was just solid on the ball. He didn't put a foot wrong.
How about you?
Thought he
Rick?
was a bit shakier probably against Juve than
Holy
he had
shit,
been.
Toronto just tied it.
Rick-
4-4, Danny, by the way. I'm watching the game.
Let's go, Toronto.
Let's go Leafs. Go Leafs.
4-1
Go.
down.
So I'll go Diamande. I feel like he was had a slightly down game against Juventus, and he has had the Ramadan game where he was kind of shit. But he was better today, so I'll give it to him.
Fair enough. How about you, Rich? Man of the match.
Danny Saldana, because he didn't have to watch his match.
Vamos.
That's it. I don't think anybody really deserves man of the match, honestly. Like, no one was good. Or no one stood out.
How about you, Steph?
I'm gonna say Trincão because he gave us the spark we needed.
Yeah, fair enough. I just let me quickly answer this before I bring up the Twitter questions. The Sporting miss Tabata, I would say
A little. A little bit, yeah.
I think a lot.
Tabata's a better option than a lot of the wingers we
He'd
have.
still be not getting that many minutes. That's the
No,
thing.
because he would still, because realistically, he would be
He'd
in the
still be
Artur
riding
spot.
pine.
He'd be in the Artur spot at best, where he'd be getting like sub minutes for like 15 here, 20
Yeah.
here. He wouldn't be.
No, you know what it is? I think all the minutes that we've seen Pot play in the midfield, we could have seen Tabata play there. Tabata play in the midfield.
But the
Pot
thing
a bit
is
higher,
Amorim
both of them
tested him
interchanged.
there, and then he gave him a
looked
couple.
good.
He gave him a couple shots, but he never really considered a serious option.
I think you still would have probably seen Pot in the midfield.
He never
and you
considered
would've
him a
seen-
serious option because we also had Ugarte, Palhinha, Nuno, Mateus.
True, he had a
Nunes.
slightly more.
He had,
But
he had
against,
much more stacked midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think you probably would have seen.
Palmeiras, what I've seen.
I watched Brazil.
He's like
He's
a-
actually
He
played quite
hasn't
well.
been a full. He's been like an inconsistent starter though.
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think he would have probably been in the Artur Gomes spot where he would have been seeing him get a lot of substitute minutes.
Oh, of course.
Maybe the odd start if they if injuries were also what they were and they decide to play Pot in the midfield. You might
Fair.
see him start the odd game, but not much.
Fair.
But I do miss.
That's a
I
good-
like Tabata. I miss.
Yeah,
him
me too.
sometimes.
That's a good point that Dave does bring up. But anyways, let's go on to our Twitter questions with our boy Nuno Gabriel, who's in the chat at Cati Valence. We'll start with the second one since you mentioned Artur. Does Artur have nudes of Ruben Amorim to get so much playing time?
He knows something that no one else does.
It has
Isn't he
to,
like
bro.
his like uncle or something?
Are they
What?
really?
Nah, I just made that up.
Nah, I was gonna say.
He's his like father.
But bro, he'll play fucking right back, left wing back.
He's played like half the positions this year. He's played both fullbacks. He's played both. wings.
he rises. He's like risen in the depth chart without really actually doing that much to earn that.
And then next question is, are you guys starting to get a little fed up with Edwards like me? Today he lost just about every dribble.
He was
and
in
made some
slow-mo
bad
today.
decisions with the ball.
Yeah,
he
he
was in
wasn't-
slow-mo.
He was
Yeah.
at like 0.75.
I don't know
speed.
why. Yeah, he was like glitching. He just like wasn't playing quickly at all.
He was
Some
on
pressure by
dial-up. He was
playing
on
back-
dial-up today.
Back at Guimaraes, maybe? Maybe.
No.
No.
I think it's just the end of the season. He's exhausted.
Yeah.
There's not much to play for too, so like he probably was like,
Yeah,
what am I
no
like? I'm just
motivation.
trying to get through the game. I don't really want to get hurt going into the off season. It's like, why
Yeah,
am I gonna bust my ass?
I mean, let's keep things into perspective. We're competing against Europa and Guimaraes. That's it.
They're not gonna catch us though.
No.
I know, but that's the teams we're competing.
I mean, if we
against.
keep playing the way we are, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it'll happen, but it's still not.
No.
mathematically, it's not
It's
possible.
13 points away. So
Yeah,
it's impossible to catch us. We already have the fourth place locked in,
yeah.
and
We're
should
stuck
be
in
proud of that.
purgatory.
We should be really proud of that.
Yeah, I'm so proud to be mediocre.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
Nós não temos a
Yeah.
responsabilidade. We don't have the responsibility to win.
No one on this team is responsible. for
Varandas
anything
does
else
not
than
put
what's
the
on
pressure on these players to win the league, so we should be proud for fourth place.
But you know what the problem is when the A squad performs poorly like they are performing, it lingers down to everything else.
Yeah.
Even the
I mean,
modalities.
We've always said. I mean, I've always said this. Some people have always said this. Like the team, like for example, like presidential problems, financial problems, they can never get addressed unless the team is bad enough. Because once the team is bad enough, then people start to get worked up about like some of the other stuff too.
Because they
But
go,
if
yeah,
the-
this is stupid.
But
Oh,
if
yeah,
the
you
A
know what,
team's
that's
winning, then
So who
everything's
cares?
good, and we can just paper
Yeah.
over the cracks of everything else. You know.
dumb. Winning's it's a universal thing in sports. Winning solves a lot of problems.
Of
It
course.
hides a lot of problems.
I mean,
If you're
even-
winning, no
basically
one
bought
cares.
Varandas 2 years of absolutely
Even
no
yeah,
criticism.
exactly. Even
Yeah.
financial problems, because we don't care. We're winning, so.
Winning
Mas,
solves everything.
like Nuno just said, o que interessa é participar.
They participated this year, that's for sure.
They certainly participated sometimes.
All right, boys, let's get into the basically the last game of the season. Really, I mean, we have some other participation games. Me and Rich are on a live stream with the Turin Giants.
You have to watch
so if
a
you want to see
breakdown
our
too, man,
reaction,
live on the
exactly. If you want to see our hearts break live on camera, feel free to.
Do we really have to talk about this game?
We're not going to spend a lot of time
I think
on
there's
this game.
yeah, we don't have to talk about too much. I wanted to address a few points, but anyways, the 11 was a Dan in net. We had Inácio Coates Diomande in the back line. St. Just out for injury, of course. Nuno Santos Gaio and the wing back position. Ugarte Murita, Pot Trincão, and Edwards up top. Juve had Chesney, they had Quadrado, Danilo, Bremer, Alexandro, Di Maria, Rabiot, Locatelli, Moretti, Chiesa, and Vlahovic, who I only learned, I kind of had an idea.
3.3, I mean, good for him, bro.
They hate him. They hate
Dusan
Vlahovic. Our substitutions of Matheus Reis, Shermiti, and Artur. They had Milik, Pogba, Gatti, and Kostic coming in.
We didn't even use all our subs. That was so stupid of us.
He didn't make like any subs in this game.
No.
Bro, but to be fair, did you see our bench? Who would you sub in aside from those three? Aside from those three, who were you subbing in? I think we had 2 goalkeepers as well still.
Andre Paulo.
And more defenders.
Fuck it. Fuck it. We ball.
I mean, at least put it. I personally at least put in Bellerin for Isgaio. One thing we didn't mention about the Guimaraes game, that fucking Isgaio pass, amazing. The few highlights I seen was Isgaio also passing it to fucking nobody. But anyways, let's get back to this game. Steph, I'll start it off with you, bro. What were your quick thoughts on this game? Sporting deserved to go through. What do you think?
Yeah, we definitely deserved. We outplayed Juventus in Italy and in Lisbon, big time. Juventus looked like they looked like Portimonense from Portugal. We played much better than them, and these 2 games just proved that Ruben Amorim was totally wrong in not buying another striker in the transfer window in January. He failed to accomplish a very important goal, which was to buy a quality striker. And because of that, we were eliminated by a shitty team like Juventus. They're playing really bad in Italy. This was the year to beat them because they have the money. They will come around and build another good team. This team is good on paper, but they old. They're not as fast as they used to be. Quadrado, Di Maria, they used to be good players, but they're declining, just like Cristiano Ronaldo, and just like Messi as well. We did outplay them. They scored some shitty goals. They won by luck, but that's what football is all about. It's that little Sterlinha, the star, and they had that. But Sporting played much better. But when you don't have quality strikers, there's nothing the team. You could have a nice midfield, which we do. We have a so-so defense. Our defense is not bad at all. Our goalie has been terrible this year. But again, with these 2 games, he messed up once big time. But besides that, he was consistent. So that's my take on this Sporting Juventus. I hope Juventus doesn't win at all.
They won't. They suck.
I'm bitter. I'm bitter with them because
there's no way.
They suck.
There's no way.
And they play like shit against us, and they burn a lot of time. Unnecessary. And they play the Italian way, which is to play defense and score 1 goal and play defense.
They might get smacked by Sevilla, honestly.
Or like, I love what Nuno Gabriel said. Typical Italian mijados do caralho. Always that's exactly how it is, bro.
But they have 4 World Cups and we have none.
We got shit.
Yeah. But that's my take on it. I feel disgusted. I was watching the game on Thursday at work when I could, like bits and pieces of it. And I almost broke my phone because we can score. Well, I mean, we cannot score. And I was like, what the fuck?
We couldn't finish our dinner. They couldn't finish a dinner.
We call ourselves professional players and jogam pior que os lá da Gafanha.
Watts had 2 great chances at the end. It didn't really make the better.
I mean, they look worse than us when we play, in the park. Solteiros contra casados.
The second
Yeah,
half of
that's
this
it.
game wasn't good enough in
No,
the
it's
second half.
stunk. I
I
said
think
it.
even the
They didn't
first
create
half,
enough
midway.
chances. It was too passive. It felt like they were nervous or scared of something. It's like
Yeah.
And I don't get Ruben Amorim. I mean, why
the first goal was so fucking pathetic.
why
honestly.
burn the
Yeah.
chances of
I thought it was done, to be
Fatau.
honest.
Fatau
I was like,
not
oh, we
playing
can.
for the under 19 in the youth league,
Yeah.
and you didn't play him with these in these games?
He
Why?
hasn't had any game
Why
time
burn the
since.
player? And then he comes
Yeah.
with the bullshit that a formação é para formar jogadores.
Mhm.
Yes, but at the same time, you can manage it to please both sides of the house.
He was.
So
he
you
was.
didn't use him, and then he couldn't play for the youth league. What the fuck?
I
That's
guarantee
Even-
they
that's
like,
a
didn't
young
know or
manager
something.
showing like
He-
inexperience right
he
there. That's
even
a young
said,
manager not thinking things through.
He even said pre-conference to this Guimaraes game that the reason he did that was because Fatau looked way better than the kids that he was playing in the youth league against.
Oh, so
that he
so
deserved
did-
the shot.
So
So he
He did a
deserved the 2
favor
minutes.
to AZ. He did a favor
Exactly.
to AZ. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because I think, to tell you the truth, I think he fucked up. He didn't realize it.
I agree.
He probably
Yeah.
didn't know. Or
I think
something.
that's an inexperienced manager not knowing what he was doing, and it showed.
I
He
think
got caught in.
someone told him, Ruben Amorim. I think he fucked up.
And in the end, right, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. It's not like the worst fuck up in the world, but it's just a minor.
It does matter
It's
because
just
at the youth
stupid.
league, Porto Benfica's won and we haven't won it.
Yeah,
it matters
yeah.
to me as a fan. I would want to
But
win
to,
it, so I
to
don't
be
have
fair,
to lose
he
it.
doesn't really give a shit because that's like what Felipe Silicaia's team. That's his problem, you know.
But that's also what he said in that press conference too. He was saying like he's always like screwing over Felipe Silicaili or whatever his last name is. So but anyways, well, I'm gonna quickly let's quickly jump on to. I don't think there's anything crazy to say about this game. I think maybe there was a red card that could have been shown to. I think it was Gatti who kicked Diomande right in the neck.
Yeah, I don't
how is
think
that?
so.
How that's not a red? I don't know. I mean,
I don't
not
think
to
it's
say
a
that
red.
the ref screwed us. I don't think it's that, but
Yo, that
it
dude
would've helped.
Gatti
It would've
that
helped.
dude Gatti has zero self-control. He did something again this
Yeah.
weekend after the ball. I think he's just psychotic.
the
Well,
Turin
he
boys
got
love
away
him
with it.
though. Those
Really?
boys love him.
They
Yeah, they were
love
like, get
Gatti.
Gatti on ASAP. Get Gatti on. I don't know.
There was one dude in their chat going just fucking
Yeah.
ballistic when he got
Just
subbed on.
strange thing. Other than that, I can't really think of any other things in this game. We can blame Coates. I did see a lot of hate on Coates. My only thing is, if we're relying on our center back to score all our goals,
That's
I
not
get
a
it.
good
He
sign.
did. I get it because we have that of 2020, 2021. Like he did do that for us, fair. But
That was a
it's
whole
not a good
pandemic.
sign.
How about conceding an
not a good
idiotic set piece goal where you got two guys laying on the ground for absolutely nothing?
Mhm.
It's just like, dude, well, get up. There's nothing in any of this. Like, keep playing. It's so fucking frustrating. To be
Well,
fair, I
but-
thought that was probably the end of it all right there, instantly.
But the Juventus goal was a gift from whom?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who gave?
I said it.
it was
gave the ball
Inacio
away?
and somebody else were just rolling around, and I forget who
Yeah,
it
Who
was.
gave
was.
the ball
sloppy.
away? Do you guys remember?
For
I can
what?
try pulling up the video.
Juventus
on,
game.
All right, it's a blur now. I said it midway through the first half of the first leg. I said we're gonna regret not scoring at least one of these chances today. It's gonna bite us in the ass, and I was proven very right because they scored a not great goal. We had multiple chances at the end of the game even and couldn't convert. And like Steph and like all of us have said, the fact that we don't have a striker shows this team couldn't finish a fucking meal if you put it in front of them. They're so inept in front of the net. It's like they forget how to play football when you have a net in front of you. It's so bad.
Yeah, it was off a corner. Inacio on the floor, Pot on the floor.
Yeah.
They're all just taking a nap.
Morita doesn't get the header away.
Rabio
well.
just swings his
there,
leg at
okay,
it,
okay,
and it
It
goes
helps,
right in the
yeah.
bottom corner.
Yeah, Morita.
It's hard to
he
blame
heads
one
the ball.
person there.
Yeah, that's it. And then
Yeah.
it was no one's fault. It was just
It was just
It was a collective. It was
a
a collective.
collective brain
Yeah.
fart.
yeah. It
The other
was,
thing,
it was,
I'm sorry.
it was Juventus tudo mijado e cagado a marcar gol de merda.
The other thing that started a lot of polemica after the game was Amorim's comments. I want to get your guys' takes on this real quick. I want to put in my 2 cents really quick as well, mainly on the comments that Lietzen, who was it? Lietzen, Derlei, Slimani, Sporting's had great strikers throughout the season, but Paulinho and Tete have more league titles than them, basically.
Yeah, it's because we also had Anderson Polga playing center back though too. So we had
Don't disrespect the
liabilities
goal.
in other
Don't
we had
disrespect the goal.
liabilities in other areas.
Anderson Polga is a World Cup winner. Don't disrespect Anderson Polga.
Fuck it. That was one guy.
I love Anderson Polga, but
that was one guy I irrationally hated as a kid. I don't know why. I think his name just pissed me off.
I loved Anderson Polga. Let me just say, Polga. I feel like most of you will disagree with me, and that's fair. I think there's nothing wrong with what Amorim said. Maybe only the timing. I think the timing was the only thing that was wrong. Because I think if Sapinto says the same thing, there's no issue. But because it's Ruben Amorim and because he was a Benfica player, I think that's the only reason why there's an issue. Because what he's saying isn't a lie. I get the frustration that nonetheless it's not that I do understand our frustration that we do need a striker. I've been preaching it for fucking months, if not years, on this podcast, right? But what he's saying is true as well. I mean, we had goal scorers on this team, and we still hadn't won the league. So to just blame it on a lack of goals or a lack of a striker, it's not true because, like he said, and he's obviously defending his team, but it's like he said, we had Lietzen, we had Derlei. I can even go further. We had Slimani, like you said, Freddie, Teo, Bas Dost, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and we still didn't win the league with these strikers. I do get.
We almost did though.
We came close a few times.
Almost isn't good enough, bro. It's a quote Paulo Bento.
But there's something he fucked up because Derlei and Lietzen did win the league.
With Portugal.
No. Okay. They did. Okay. So under a different manager, great strikers, and they won the league. Okay. So we actually giving him a compliment. Imagine Ruben Amorim with decent strikers.
Yeah.
He would have won possibly the league this year. He's a good manager, but the one thing I'm not liking about him is he never blames himself. He always finds
there's an arrogance about him lately.
So it's getting old. It's getting old that he doesn't man up and say, "I should have gotten a striker. I fucked up."
Yeah, there's an arrogance about him lately. I think it's just he thinks, and a lot of Portuguese managers have suffered from this. They think they're infallible. It's the Jorge Jesus and sometimes even the Mourinho syndrome. They think they know everything, and they don't.
I mean,
that's fair.
A manager is hired to manage also egos. Because some of these players make so much money that the most difficult part of dealing with these players is actually to bring them down to earth. Because I would love to know what happened with Slimani. I would love to know. Because he's scoring goals.
The same thing that happened to Cristiano Ronaldo and Eric Ten Hag happened to Slimani and
I think so too. Yeah, that's
true. There just wasn't a very public interview.
He had to own him to get the respect of the locker room. And by putting him in his place, it showed that he was willing to do it to anyone, or whatever. And he couldn't let the disrespect
But in the meantime, we won 0 trophies and we're finishing in 4th.
To be fair, Slimani has, since he's moved to Belgium on loan, it was horrible the first half of the season at that terrible French team, Stade de Brest.
Stade de Brest.
Yeah. He's moved to Anderlecht. He's banged a few in. He's been playing better. So
that team plays the style Riwave. It's counterattack and defending and counterattack. That's not Slimani's.
Just looking not to get relegated. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll always have March 2022, baby, when he won Player of the Month for March. Burger King Player of the Month. We'll always have that graphic.
Steph, a question in for you from Nunu. He's asking if you're saying that Amorim isn't a good manager yet, but a good coach. But is he a good coach, I guess?
Yes. I think he's not a good manager. I think he knows that because if he was totally confident, he would have gone by now to England. But he knows that he will struggle dealing with superstars making a lot of money It's a different style of
he could have taken like a Villa job or
He could have taken a
like,
mid-table team at any
Leicester.
time last
I mean,
year.
to be fair, half of the teams in mid-table are in like a relegation scrap, low key in England this year. I just don't think that he doesn't want to risk it because he knows if it goes bad, they start losing. Whatever, they'll just can his ass after 3 months, you know.
Yeah, they don't.
Okay,
care.
I'm going to give you.
And he doesn't want that to happen because that taints everything, you know.
I'm going to give you guys a comparison.
Marco Silva's survived it. He's gotten his ass canned a few times.
Yeah.
That you guys will relate to quickly. How many times have you seen a college coach being very successful at the college level, and when they go to the NFL, they suck?
Oh, all the time. Happens.
Yeah, it happens
time.
pretty.
It happens in
pretty
hockey
often.
too.
You know
got
why?
Guys who do well. in the
Ruben
minors
Amorim,
who
he's
suck.
dealing for the vast majority with kids, and he's phenomenal with kids. Most of the players they don't get paid more than $3 million or $5 million. If he goes to a team like Tottenham or Liverpool,
He's got guys make that in a week.
they make $6 million, $10 million, $12 million. If he talks to them like he talks to the Sporting players, he's not gonna last 2 months. He's not ready. He's a good coach, but he's not a good manager. He doesn't know how to deal with the ego of players because he could have proven that all of us wrong with Slimani, but he preferred to send him off because it was easier for him. Mm-hmm. Instead of dealing with him one-on-one, he said, no, you know what?
And he probably justifies it to himself by saying, I never wanted him, and he gave me this guy, and he was an asshole. I never asked for this asshole. Well, it's like, well, you should have probably tried to make it work for the benefit of the team, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if we had Slimani, we would have still be in the Liga Europa and still fighting at least for the second place.
I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
I'm not sure about that, but somebody else. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure what Paulie
I think Slimani just illustrates.
He would have done better than Schmidt.
I agree. Yeah, I think we'd be more. I agree there. I think we'd be more in the race for third. We'd be closer to Braga.
I don't think that. I mean, that much changes.
He came on in January, right?
Anderlecht. Oh, at Sporting. Yes, he went to. He also
that year,
was in January. Yeah.
January.
And then it was basically out by March.
So we're talking about January. That's how many games ago? A lot of games ago. We wouldn't have maybe tied against Roca, and what was the last time?
Gil Vicente as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I agree. I agree with you there. I agree. I think what Amorim. There's two reasons. One was said in the chat by Nuno, I believe it was. Comfortable in Portugal. Comfortable with his family. Also, a young family, right? I also just think he doesn't want a Villa. He doesn't want a Leicester. He wants a Chelsea. He wants a United. He wants to continue. He wants to win. You know what I mean? Wow. He wants to compete at least in Champions League. I think that's why he hasn't left Sporting yet.
He's going to have to change his mentality as a coach. He's going to have to go talk to Mourinho, talk to what's the coach of Fulham?
Mark Silva,
and learn from them. Hey, listen, tu não vens para aqui da Marta em Portugal a berrar com toda a gente, nem duras 2 meses. Exactly. They're going to tell him that.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if he goes to like a Chelsea where there's no patience.
He's been struggling.
Yeah.
He dropped points today. He's done. He's done. They're done. They're not.
What's he do? Where does he go from here?
He was yelling at the fans today too. I love that.
Flamengo. You might go back to Flamengo to be fair.
No, they just
they already signed a new manager.
They just got
they'll fire.
They just got another one,
yeah.
Bald dude. What's his name? He was Chile manager, Argentina manager. Sampaoli.
He might last until the summer, and then Jesus comes.
I think if Jesus becomes available,
someone in Brazil will get him back.
I think if he's available in the summer, there's some team in and around Brazil that's willing to make a move.
If Porto get rid of Conceição, bro, I see him.
I remember when it was like, remember all of a sudden overnight, it was like in like a month or two ago, it was like Conceição was going to resign like tonight. Or it's like he's going to resign in 10 minutes, effective immediately. And then
I think it's time for him to go.
What happened with that? They're just good now? Him and Pinnicos are just good?
I don't know if they're just good.
I think he might leave in the summer.
That shit really
I
cool.
think,
He's
yeah,
been there
he's
for
winning
6 years
for-
now.
He's won everything outside of like a European trophy there. Like he has
Yeah.
really done everything. There's not much else he could really do for Porto. So if you're gonna leave, like now is as good a time as that. Like this next season or so is the time. To
He's
do
not
it.
coming to Sporting though.
Christ, no.
I would love
No.
that. I would love that.
I would
No.
take it in a heart. Oh, Leaf scored.
You know, he was Portuguese when he was younger.
Exactly.
I know. So
I
Danny
would love
Leaf's
him at
gone.
Sporting though. I don't think.
Where
he'd
would
ever
he
come.
go? He would go what, to like Italy or England?
Yeah,
He's
Inter.
kinda like,
I remember
He strikes
Inter
me
was
as a guy
being
who
said
would
a
do- He
lot,
strikes
but
me
now
as a guy who would
Conte's
do well in Italy.
Conte's out, so I don't know if out of Tottenham. So I think maybe Conte goes to Inter.
Sampdoria. He's gonna go coach in Serie B.
No, Conte Sal strikes me though as a guy where he would probably do well in Italy. I reckon.
Yeah,
Wolves
he's got.
maybe.
Italy, in Lazio.
Yeah.
Lazio
Lazio,
played
yeah.
for.
And he was a
Um,
phenomenal player. I remember when he
Yeah.
almost came to Sporting.
We have a lot of guys we remember almost came to Sporting.
Holland.
No, seriously, I remember
Yeah,
one
no,
summer
no,
my
he
father
was. I heard.
was
I got the tail end of him, but everybody I know that did watch him, like in my family, they always said he was a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what's next
But
on
he
the
always
menu?
got kind of overshadowed because like Figo and Rui Costa like existed, right? So those were the two golden boys.
He was ahead of the golden generation because he was done after 2002. You know, he was a bit
pretty
ahead of the
much.
golden.
Scolari when he took over kind of phased a lot of those guys.
Because he didn't make
out.
the Euro 2004 squad, right?
No,
2002 was
Scolari
the-
phased a lot of guys from like that 2002 squad that probably would have still played. Like he did take Victoria Bahia, right? Who would like just won a Champions League with Porto. Like he phased a lot of that.
Fernando
team out.
Couto too. He kind of told him to fuck off a little bit. He made the squad, but
He
then
made the squad. He played like
didn't-
one game and
yeah,
never
he played one
was
game
hurt
and that was
from
it.
again.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this on the stream or not, but like quickly, of course, lost to penalties to AZ Alkmaar.
So we're not
what's-
Sokol Penalty anymore.
Yeah, we aren't. What was the kid that scored the wonder goal? I think he just renewed his contract as well.
Sheik Lamba.
No.
No,
No.
it was Diogo something.
Abreu? No.
No, maybe it
Travas.
wasn't Diogo.
I'm trying to think of it. No.
It was a striker. Let me see. Does it say the goals here? It was Diogo Cabral.
Yo Cabral.
Yeah, the little,
Yeah, Sheik Lam scored the penalty. Sorry.
the skinny black kid. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Good player.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't make it out the semis. They won today, 5-0
Could have been us.
at Alkmaar.
Could have been us.
Porto won it recently. Benfica won it recently. We've made the semis, which is good. I mean, I'll take it, but I guess we sort of alluded to it. The only question I really had on this was, would Fatau have made a difference? What do you think?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
And I hate the fact that Ruben Amorim fucked up and he's not owning up to it, and he's saying that it was purposely done because basically what he's saying is the youth is to form players to play for the A squad. I agree with that, but if you can manage both, because he didn't use him at all, so that's why I'm so upset. He used him for a few minutes.
That's
So
the thing.
why
Like he's seen no playing time in the A team since.
Why burn a player that could have been decisive on the semifinal against AZ when you're not even using him in the A squad?
Or
not
actually
being
use
a
him in the A squad then.
Yeah, like
Those
give
are
him
the
some
two
minutes.
options.
Give him time.
Say it again?
What are you doing?
Or use him in the A squad.
I
He
know.
He hasn't played
That's what
since
I'm
those 2
saying.
minutes against Arsenal. I'm pretty sure.
What? Because
You're using
the
him
rule-
in neither then.
The
You know?
rule was he couldn't play more than 3 times in the Champions League and Liga Europa, or else he couldn't play for the Youth League. He used him 3 times. Him and Izugu. Let's not forget about him.
Yeah.
And why being such? To me, I hate to say it this way, but Ruben Amorim fucked up. As a manager, he managed this situation very poorly, because he could have said, "Okay, if I use you guys, I use you guys. But it'll be no more than 3 times, because I want you guys to play in the Youth League." Because Wednesday, do you know who we play against? The under 19.
No
We
idea.
play against Benfica.
Oh,
If
God
we
help
win
us.
against Benfica on Wednesday, we in first place. We clinch the first place. So let's see what kind of players are we going to be available for Wednesday. That's the title game. I've been paying attention. Under 15, we done. Under 17, we basically done too. So under 19 is the only one we can win the championship if we take it seriously and we play the best players. I'm getting tired of the mentality of os jogadores é para formar para a equipa principal. So we're cultivating this losing mentality in our youth. Yeah, it doesn't matter to win titles. We just need to form you and that's it. If you win or lose, it doesn't matter. That's basically what they're saying.
Exactly. And even in previous years, like Sporting, at least the youth levels would still win, right?
Yeah, there was still
So-
success.
Look at the
there
B
youth
team.
levels.
This isn't,
How's
yeah,
the
it's
B
not
team
acceptable.
doing?
But this is. I know they're almost about to be in the 4th division. This is what this is Sporting though. It's not demanding wins, and I think the worry is, to me at least, and I don't want to blame this just on the.
If you don't have a winning mentality from the
Exactly.
youth, then we're not going to win championships in the 18.
You know what my fear is after Amorim leaves, we don't get a manager. We get a manager just like Varandas that doesn't demand wins, and next thing you know, we are Tottenham all over again, where the mentality is we're playing for a big club. We don't put pressure on us. Please don't put pressure on us. We're Sporting.
Yeah,
Let Porto and
we're
Benfica
happy.
win. Don't put
We're
pressure
happy to
on
just
us.
take the participation trophies.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest fear that I have with this administration not demanding more from even from the youth leagues, like Steph was saying, is that it's gonna bleed. Because in 5 years, when we need to use some of these players to the A team, they didn't win shit in the youth leagues. They're not gonna be ready to battle for first place or to compete. Or let's say if we're in first place, to stay in first place. We might bottle it like Arsenal are currently doing. That's my current worry with this current mentality that we have.
The problem that's going on in the youth league, you have, I'll give you an example. You have a player that's 17 years old. So he might be playing in the Juventus under 17 today. And then next week they say, you know what? You're going to play in the under 19. And then they say, you know what? Next week you're going to play in the B team. And then there's no consistency. It's like that player is playing in three. The player that played in 6 different leagues was Gonçalo.
Yes.
He played in 6 different competitions. Okay? And then he's supposed to be developing like that. I don't think that will develop them.
That doesn't help. That you're not getting any consistency.
He's not getting consistency with the coaches and with the players because he's constantly playing with different players. So this methodology that Sporting adopted, I get it, but I don't think it's working out.
It doesn't help because you're forcing the player to have to constantly adjust, and that doesn't help them at all.
Well, thank you for seeing it the same way as I do.
Yeah. We're smart men, you and I.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
They're forcing these players to multitask in different leagues, and then there's no rhythm, no consistency, and we're not winning anything.
And with that being said, I'll bring us on to our second last topic. Do you think all of this justifies a 32% increase in wages to Frederic Varandas? I know it's easy fruit right here for us to just attack him, but
you mean a decrease? Is that what you said?
I wish. That's not what's on. That's not what's.
Well, here's the thing.
I think this would be his second raise since he became president.
I think it's a second as well.
Yeah, Chris is right. It's the second raise.
Here's the thing. After the week that the club as a whole, not just on the football A team side, but on the youth level in the modalities, this is probably the dumbest time to announce, he's getting a raise. Read the fucking room.
Yeah, exactly.
If he announced it like in July, I don't even give a shit. I'm like, whatever. But the fact that they made it or leaked it or whatever so soon after the disaster of like a week and a half the club had is just like such bad optics. Like, don't announce it now. Announce it in like a month and a half when no one cares, when the exhibition games are starting and like there's a bit of a renewed sense of optimism. We said it before the show. Steph made a great point. Announce it when they've made like a big sale or like a bit of a splash of a signing. Don't do it now. Like, what a fucking dope. What a moron. Bash two brain cells together. You dipshit.
It just. I'll give you my 2 cents. It doesn't justify for him to get a 32% increase, and I'll tell you why. Because I have a boss. You guys have bosses. So if your company doesn't make any money, we all know we're not going to get a raise. We all know that. If there's no profits, you go to your boss and say, hey, can you give me a raise? I'm like, are you kidding me? We lost money. Why would you think we would give you a raise when we're losing money? And that's what's going on at Sporting. We're finishing in fourth. We didn't win any trophies. We're going to lose money because we're not qualifying for the Champions League. And this guy says he wants a raise. His timing is way off. And he shows how poor of a leader he is. And that's why he shouldn't be at Sporting at all.
Yeah.
He makes it impossible to defend him. Like, I've tried to be nice to him, but this is just such a stupid fucking idiot move.
It's a big raise too, to be fair.
Yeah,
32%.
it's not like it's like 5 or 10%.
I mean, I'm happy if I get an 8 to 10% raise.
I can't even get a raise to fucking adjust for inflation nowadays.
Yeah,
Well, this
so
guy's getting
32%. I know that's a big raise. You know,
That's a
But
huge
it
raise.
doesn't justify the 32%. Why would you ask for 32% raise? Did we win the Euro Millions?
well, they're gonna hide behind what this like. They did a commission or whatever. They commissioned someone to do some sort of like audit or whatever, and then they recommended these salaries, and so they can just hide behind it was the
But
recommendation.
Chris, the problem is not only his salary, because if he's
no,
getting
it's Hugo Viana. It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Yeah,
Everyone's getting a raise, dude.
You know how
Everyone's
many
eating
vice
good.
presidents Sporting has? 7. So
That's
7
about
vice presidents.
6 too
I don't
many.
even know why they have 7.
Hugo Viana actually makes significantly more than Verandas does.
Good for
Verandas,
him.
I think, wants to go from 180 to 240, if I'm not mistaken, or 180 to
something like
220. But I think Hugo Viana was closer to 400K, if I'm not mistaken.
And I get it that a president of a club, making 240 in comparison to your best player, that he makes like 6 million after tax, 3 million, it kind of hurts. Like, I'm the big boss, I'm the big cheese, and he makes more money than I do.
To be fair, he probably makes more money than a good amount of the youth players that like are in and around the first team and stuff. 240K, that's good money for
Make it
Portugal,
more than me.
especially.
But for all the headaches, I don't think it is.
There's.
To be honest, 240 is not a lot of money, because Pinto Costa makes the triple, and Rui Costa as well.
Rui Costa I can't speak to. Pinto Costa, he's been there at least for 30, 40 years now.
Pinto Costa also like skims off the top more than what's said.
Oh my God! Let's not even talk about that.
Yeah, he's skimming off the top more than what meets the eye.
Well, Dorado is not even Dorado anymore; it's platinum.
It's triple platinum.
Any I don't know about any of this guys though. What David's saying, he says I think the most interesting part, but I believe they want to expand the amount of off-pitch structure in the terms of personnel. So are we looking to put even more people in?
You'd have to probably
more vice-presidents, or
because remember when they like laid people off for COVID, you have to probably look at to see like what the pre-2021 level was. Like if it's like
back to that norm.
If it's just getting back to it, or if it's going past it or not.
But how can you even think about that when the club is struggling financially?
Well, that's the other thing. Is, if people are being laid off within like, if people have been laid off within a year and a half of this big raise. So,
but we can even play for our venues.
And we know like 240K, right? Like there are people that were getting laid off. They're making like 30K, right? So how many 30Ks can we squeeze into his salary, right? Like there's a lot of people that are just kind of, I don't know, cast aside when it feels like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not surprising that Sporting probably thinks not the most of their employees, right? Because most companies don't. But like, I don't
What
know.
do you mean? They got the corporate boys that meet Gillette. They all have the jackets.
Sad. It is sad to see like I don't know, like the amount of money that goes into certain things when it's like, I don't know how, like laying people off, like you lay 3 people off, like that's less than 100K total probably, So it's just, yeah.
If they ever lay Paulinho off, it's going to be Alcochette 2.0.
He's probably the only one that's safe, to be honest.
Yeah, if he's not safe, we're going to have issues, Fred.
I mean,
Paulinho and Zubas are off the table.
Yeah, I know. Sporting is doing so bad this year that even in futsal, our bread and butter, Taça Portugal, Taça da Liga went to Benfica.
Got to win the league, yeah.
The league and the
that
Champions
hurts.
League.
Huh?
Yeah, they're still in the Champions League, to be fair, but
True.
that could be we
That
could
could be
lose to
Benfica too, though.
We could lose to Benfica in the final potentially, which would just
I know.
sting.
I know. And
They
then
would never let us forget
basketball, we lost against Porto. We lost against Benfica. The only modality we're doing fairly well is handball.
Yeah,
we're still in first place. Okay, Patins, they're about to go and play a mode against Sporting Tomar. And then our bread and butter, it's track and field. They won the Marcha and indoor competitions. But besides that, we kind of suck in, like the ladies lost again against Porto, 3-0, 3-0. In rugby, we lost the championship as well. So I don't know.
Did the ladies team lose to Benfica again this week in soccer? Because it wouldn't shock me. I feel like we lose Benfica almost every other week.
4-0 in futsal.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. The under 15, they tied 0-0 against Académica. But like o Nuno Gabriel disse, o que interessa é participar. E os colchões, não é colhões, é colchões.
Colhões, yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
It's pretty bad.
Listen,
we're not winning anything, and that bothers me. That bothers
and I
me
know,
so much.
and I do hear what Amuri's saying with the money that's being increased in his salary won't buy us a striker per se, but hey, maybe that money will, like, why not reinvest that money into the squad instead? Instead of increasing your salary on a year where the number one thing is we're in fourth. We lost to, what was the third? Verzin. We lost the Taça da Liga. Okay, final, but we lost it. The league, we've never been close. The Champions League, we did what we did. It was kind of embarrassing. Reinvest in the team. The females, holy fuck, the females need some work.
They like to pretend that they did something. Remember, remember, like the big launch of Ciudad Sporting, even like.
What was it? Okay, we painted the road.
Yeah.
If you've been there, like the big deal that was made out of like the installation of like the one basketball hoop. They painted the 1906 on those.
I was there this summer, and it was nothing impressive.
Incredibly underwhelming.
It was nothing impressive. To tell the truth, I'm going to say this, and
how about we put some money into that, bro? They did the chairs. Good for them. They did the chairs. That probably cost.
Thank God.
The outside it still looks like.
Listen, I'm going to say this, and you guys not going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I might like it. You never know.
No, you're not going to like it for sure. I went to Sporting and I went to Stade de Luz. And Stade de Luz...
Steph, I'm going to mute you.
No,
don't say it.
Let it cook.
I'm going to mute you.
By far,
the biggest shithole in Portugal, I agree.
They're much more organized.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By far. Even the museum, by far, is better than ours.
No.
I'm not talking about the trophies. I'm talking about the setup of the museum. They made a pavilion just for the with 2 floors, first floor, second floor, which is much better than what we have. They put it as in the basement of the stadium.
Yeah.
It's insulting, actually, what they did to our trophy case. It's nothing amazing. When you go live, like we say in Portuguese, paupérrimo. Like, it's very poor. Very poor. Our pavilion is much better than theirs. Yes, they have 2, and those 2, in comparison to our 1 pavilion, is better. But the setup of the stadium, outside of the stadium, Benfica, they nailed it. We have an open area outside the stadium, and it's so dirty because kids go down there all the time. What Chris was talking about, the basketball hoop and everything they painted, it was filthy dirty.
But it's also such a small area.
It's yeah.
They could actually, Benfica, they have a fence surrounding the stadium where once you go inside the little village, because they have the pavilions, they have the museum,
museums and
then they have a Walgreens, let's say, that sells stuff, computer parts and clothes and stuff like that. And everything is fenced in, and I like that because it gives a sense of protection of the stadium, and also the fence. Once they go inside, it's much more protected. We have everything open in the wilds, like the Wild Wild West.
It's gonna be hilarious when they start building 3 skyscraper apartment buildings right next to the stadium. There, that should be
and
awesome.
And we should buy that land.
Yeah, well, that's too late. That's already going to be turned into a 3-story apartment.
I wonder what the pre-builds of that go in Lisbon. I mean, if they're Toronto pricing, fuck that.
Oh, dude, I was looking it up actually. I was surprised. Like,
let's go halves, Chris. What are you saying?
Now, here's the thing. I can't afford it. It's a luxury apartment. I don't have $400K. But for that to be the price of a luxury apartment,
$400K
feels
USD.
Low.
400K USD.
That was also
Canadian dollars.
That makes sense.
Canadian
that was
dollars
also the
doesn't get us
cheapest
anything,
one.
Danny.
I think that was what among the cheaper ones.
Probably
right?
Toronto. It's probably Toronto.
You want to spend like 2.5 mil? I'm sure you probably can if you get the penthouse or whatever, you know. But the cheapest one I think was like 400K.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm not gonna pretend like that's a small amount, but like, you're not getting that for no apartment in New York City is 400K, you know. So
I wish an apartment in Toronto was 400K, let alone New York, bro.
Bro, there's apartments in Kingston that aren't 400K, and we're 3 hours away from Toronto.
Exactly. Go ahead, Steph. What were you gonna ask or say?
You mentioned the ladies again. The same thing, and that we didn't have enough depth in our ladies because at one point I think Brandon Perez and Claudia Net, they were both injured at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then those 2 players were phenomenal in the midfield, and we lost the midfield. And we lost a bunch of games against them Yens and Famalicão.
I only mentioned the ladies because obviously Benfica. First off, I mentioned the ladies because I mean, I hate to be arrogant, but I feel like we kicked off the female football in Portugal. Like we set the precedent, right? Like we were the first ones. I believe we were the first ones to win. It could have been
us in Braga.
No.
But it was us. We won the first.
We have clubs like Boavista. They have more titles than we do.
Tabang, but I'm talking about like in the modern era. Like, I feel like it was Sporting that Sporting and Braga especially, but Sporting was the one that set the precedent. That's why I feel like, and because the female game is just growing so much, we have to do better. We look at our neighbors across the street, Benfica, and the investment that they've made into their female team is incredible. You know, they're buying Canadian and American women, and they're buying the best Portuguese players as well. That I feel like that's all I'm saying with this 32%. There has to be something that even if we have to create it, where like a president can get a certain amount after a certain time. Like it shouldn't be up to vote where they determine a ridiculous whatever amount, a 32%. 40 fucking. Why didn't he say 40, bro? What is he only shooting for 32%? Basically, is what I'm saying, right? Like there has to be some sort of precedent when it comes to the salary of the president and the vice presidents and the whatevers. I'm personally just saying, as a president, and this is me speaking as a sócio. One day when I run for President Sporting Club Portugal, maybe I'll change my mind. But currently, as a sócio to Sporting, I would rather the money be reinvested into the modalities that have been struggling so much. Because yes, this money won't buy us a striker like Ruben Amorim said, but this money can help out some athletes. This money can maybe be put into the female.
But again, but that's not his business to talk about that.
Of course. I'm just directly answering that. Of course.
That question is supposed to be asked to Frederico Varandas.
But if I'm
Ruben Amorim, they asking me the question, I would have been polite and say, listen, this has nothing to do with me.
It's not my place.
Yeah. It's not my place. Ask Frederico Varandas.
Agreed.
Politely, I'm not going to answer your question, and that's it. But he was defending him when we losing money. What the fuck?
You have to. At the same time, I also get it because it's his boss. Publicly, he has to defend them. But I'm right. But you're right, Steph.
No,
The correct way would be
his
ask
boss has to
Federico.
defend
Don't ask
himself.
me. Yeah, fair. I agree on that.
Olha que faça o melhor trabalho com as claques.
É verdade.
Yeah.
Last thing, and it'll be really quickly. I'm just gonna show up 4 of our tweets of potential transfers. We have Ugarte being linked with Liverpool today. We also had Edwards being linked to any English club. There's no name of an English club. It's just
England.
English club.
England as a whole.
Exactly.
Going to Wrexham.
Allegri was saying after the match if he had to pick up a Sporting player, he picked Edwards because he was lively against us. We have Inacio being linked to Newcastle yet again. I feel like this is like a year and a half now brewing. And then lastly,
since they got the oil money.
Yeah, facts. At least a year and and then lastly, Tottenham being linked with Pot. I bring up these 4 names as I think we can all agree they're the more likely ones to leave. I'll start with every single one of you. I'll start with you first, Rich. Out of those 4 players, how many do you see going this summer? Seeing as, I mean, let's just be frank. We're not getting Champions League. We're likely to be at least in Europa. Out of those 4 players, how many do you think are going, and who do you think are going?
Minimum 2. I don't think all 4 leave. I think it's 2 go. I think Edwards is certainly one. He's had one foot out the door pretty much since he left Guimaraes. He knew this was kind of his stepping stone to move to England. Probably Ugarte or Inacio would be I'm gonna say Ugarte because he's been in the rumor mill a lot longer. I think Inacio is still a little bit too raw for some teams to maybe want to take a chance on him. I think Ugarte's a bit more of the finished product. So I think you might have more teams willing to bite. I think Pot, I like Pot. I just think the pass might be an issue for Sporting unless it's like unless they feel like it's like a 40 million or 50 million where it's like even if they're eating shit and having to get 50% to Family Cal, they still get 25. The other guys we all own 60 or more percent of the pass, and in Inacio's case we own 100%, right? So I think it's going to be like Ugarte and Edwards to me. Edwards for sure, I think, is one of them. I think he's gone. I think it's a toss-up after that, but I would put my money if I was a betting man on Ugarte.
Fair enough. Chris, Steph, I'll leave you for last. Chris, what do you think?
I think that it's probably going to be... Although it's funny, if you've been paying attention to the journals, Abala actually had a report that said Edwards will definitely not be sold. Like Amoni has secured him, and then 2 days later, recorded England's calling for Edwards. Like Sporting can't resist the offers. It's like, it's just,
quickly on that. My favorite is Abala saying Amorim staying. And on that same day, Ricardo is saying, Amorim might leave. I love that.
Yeah, I like when a ball tries to every now and again like that. Sometimes they get a good one, but they're just trying to be like, oh, we got scoops too.
Yeah.
Not as much. Yeah, so I personally think it's Ugarte and Edwards just because of market and rumors that have existed. I don't think we're gonna get Ugarte over that 80%, sadly. So it's probably gonna be 70%.
Still not bad, but not as good as it could have been.
So as today's rumor, 53 million. What would 70% of that be? 37 million.
I was gonna say just shy of 30.
The leeches come in. Sporting probably gets 30-some million.
We probably end up with just over 30 million at the end of the day.
28 to 30 probably, yeah.
Which is
not
horrible. What did we pay for Ugarte again?
About
5,
12, I think.
12?
12 total.
Not a horrible, I mean, good profit margin, well over 50% still, but I mean, could be better, right?
Yeah.
That's the story of this team. It could always be a bit better.
I don't think we're selling Ugarte. I'm gonna be real. I think we might listen. If I had a choice, we would only sell Edwards because I don't think he's overhyped. I think he's
got the
a
English
great
stats.
player. He's a great player, but I think exactly he has like the best. He has the best going for him. He's not the most important player, and I think we can get a lot of money for him with this English tax, right? I think we're selling at least 2 as well. I wouldn't be surprised for 3. And I say that because I think Edwards would be gone. I think Inaciu's gone, personally. And I won't be surprised if Pot's gone. Because like I said in a previous podcast, even if we get 40 million for Pot, I feel like this administration would be happy to take 20 million for Pot. Like we did for Padinha. Because, I mean, if we're getting 50% of 40 million, we're probably happy because we got 100% of Padinha and it was 20 as well, right? So that's my thoughts. And I think a lot of it, again, it depends on, they're going to say it's Champions League because even though we sold Porro for 45, even though we sold Padinha, we sold Tabata, we sold Mateus Nunes, I think the selling will still continue because as you can tell from this president, from what we previously spoke on, he's money hungry. Which is fair.
I don't care. I don't care
selling
if you
club.
make like
we have
one
debt.
big. I don't care if you make like one big sale every year. Like if you're gonna make a sale for 30 or 40 million every year, like that's fine. It's the fact of if you're gonna start making 2 and 3 and we have no idea where
properly.
If you're not gonna reinvest it and we don't know where the money's going, we just know, yeah, we have this money. Well, what's it going to? Great question. Glad you asked. Anyways, like that's what it feels like. Like they got all this money from player sales and we know nothing about where it's going. Like the debt's not really gone down significantly. We've reinvested poorly in players with what little we have reinvested. Like that's the issue is if you want to sell a guy that's for a bag, that's fine, but show me what you're doing with the money. Show some transparency.
Yeah, exactly. And the last thing I'll say before I pass it off to you, Steph, because I want you to close us off. Is just that if we do sell Ugarte, just as Dave's saying here with Musrati, if we sell Ugarte just to pay whatever to Braga to get Musrati, we are fucking stupid.
We're so dumb.
Or Banza, either or. I think we're fucking dumb. We had a chance to get Banza this summer and we didn't. So, but anyway, Steph, on that, who do you think's gone this summer? How many players do you think are gone? What were your thoughts?
Well, I think a lot has to do with the agents and what the players want. Yeah, so if the players want to leave, they will leave because Varandas has respected the wishes of players that want to leave. And I get that. Why keep a player in the team that wants to leave and then he's not going to produce? So I think all 4 players could be leaving. Pedro Gonçalves, when he went to Wolves, if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't successful. Then he came back. He got more mature. So now he might be ready to test those waters again. I think himself, on a personal basis, he's telling himself, I'm ready for an adventure and try it again. Inacio, like you said, he's full of potential. A lot of clubs want him. He's a great center back. And I think he's ambitious too. You've seen Jack Tomás. You've seen Quaresma going overseas, a lot of his friends, and he wants to give it a shot too. Then Ugarte, like Visser said, he's a finished product. So a lot of top teams in England, including Liverpool and Manchester City, they show an interest because he plays in Sporting, but he also plays for the national team of Uruguay. So he has market. And then the last one was Edwards. It's not a secret. He wants to go back to England. And he gave it all at Guimaraes. He gave it all at Sporting for 2 years. So in his mind and his agent's mind, I think it's time to go back home.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he lives in Portugal and he said he misses Nando's is just
and the fact that we're not qualifying for the Champions League and we're gonna need money because we have expenses and bills to pay that we're not paying. Like
brother thinks they don't have fried chicken.
Where's the money going? I have no clue.
the man said Nando's and you can go to a fucking rotisserie chicken spot down the street that's 10 times better.
Just could have done better. Like, come on,
dumb
dude.
Brit. Anyways, Rich, take us away with this giveaway. Remind everybody of the giveaway, and then
We're close to 1,000 subscribers. As soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away a Sporting shirt. All you gotta do is subscribe to the channel, take a screenshot, and post it to the tweet that is on screen right now, and it will also be in the links in the description. We will do a live draw on the show, so you know there's no shenanigans afoot for everybody who's entered. So you have a chance to win it. We cover the shipping, the handling, the tax, and the base cost, everything. So sub to the channel. We're about 40 or so off. We really want to hit it soon.
Facts. Boys, good podcast as always. I almost wore a Leafs jersey today.
They won in overtime.
Kind of disappointed I didn't because they did win in overtime. Shout out to the Leafs. Shout out to the Sixers since both of you guys are on here too, doing good things. Are they about to sweep? Brooklyn has
They
already
swept.
swept.
They already swept. My bad.
They already swept. They're the
Resting our
first team in.
players.
That's great.
And
That's great.
Danny, the Bruins will probably see you in the next round. The way it's
Fuck
looking.
don't make me mute you, bro. Fuck the Bruins.
Fuck you too.
Shout out to you, boys.
My team has colored pictures of them with the Stanley Cup. What do you have?
I have disappointment in the Leafs and
well, you're used to
Sporting and
your
the
Sporting
Raptors and fucking life, bro.
I like the lion. I like the little lion. Yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Give Rich a follow there. Don't forget to give Chris a follow. Sam, of course. Stefu Patrão. He doesn't want you to follow him. He wants you to follow the page Sporting160_.
That's it.
Yeah, Sporting160_EN on Twitter. Sporting160 everywhere else. Boys, good podcast as always. Arrivederci. Thank you, everybody that was in the chat. And
Sporting160EN for another month.
Exactly. Viva Sporting.